Welcome to another Warcraft 3 audio commentary. Today we're going to be watching a game from iFeng Cup. Tonight it's going to be a best of one. That's just what it is, but I think that's okay. We're running really late. It's like almost 2 a.m. in the morning. Hopefully this will be a good game. I know the last few were not the best games in the world. I do blame Mage partially for that series, and I'll tell you what, because I was down, and you can hear it. It's on the video. At the end of game one, I was like, maybe we should not finish casting the series and do a different one instead. And he was like, nah, screw it, let's do it. And so that's what happened. There was another game that got solo cast after that, like several hours after that. We had a lot of technical difficulties after that series. That game, I'm not putting it up on YouTube, so if you're watching this on YouTube, if you want to check it out, that'll be at the twitch.tv. I'm going to highlight that right after this cast, so you can check it out if you want to. It'll be like the last highlight in the recent it will be in the highlight section. It's not the greatest game either, but it's an NTL game, so you might be interested. Now, let's go ahead and introduce our players for this game, because this is for iFeng Cup. The map's Turtle Rock. Let's introduce, in the upper left, it's the Teal Night Elf. Spawning in, it is Koskson, alternatively known as Fangs, which is probably what I'll be using as his name, because Koskson is a very difficult name to pronounce. Although I might call him Coxon. I don't know. Koskson. Look, there's a lot of S's in there. And then his opponent, the Gray Undead, spawning in at the lower right part of the map. It's going to be none other than Lucifer. How cool. How cool. Rocking the Luceria name. The Luceria. And his opponent going to go for the Warden first with the Ancient of War Creep. You always Ancient of War Creep on this map. The question for Ancient of War Creeping on this map is partially, do you go for the green camp, which is almost always what people do, so you can go for the green camp, and then you can kind of move your AOW over here for this orange camp. But you could, if you wanted, I don't remember off the top of my head. I've seen people creep this orange with an AOW. I don't know if it's this particular orange. Like there's some place you can build somewhere. It's one of the spawns. I think there's only one. I think it's only one spawn, because you can see there how the terrain's a bit different. But I think there's one of those spawns that you can actually put an AOW somewhere close to that orange, and you can actually AOW creep that. So it does depend on your location. But for the most part, I think everyone just creeps the green, and then at tier 2 or on their way to tier 2, usually with the panda, with their second hero coming out, they creep the turtles. But that just a bit of interesting trivia, although it's not really that great of trivia, as I can't actually remember which one it is or where it is, because it's so rare to see. You don't ever see it, but I know it's possible. And someone's gonna be like, "You're an idiot. It's not possible." But I swear to God, it's possible. I've seen it before, more than once. I just can't remember. It's been a while. Warden chasing the Death Knight. He's level 1 Death Knight. He's got Unholy Aura. He's got some ghouls out. He's going for the tech. He's going for the tech as the Warden comes in. There's not a whole lot of ghouls, but he is making another one and another one. So we're going to see 6 ghouls on the field right now, and a 7th ghoul on the way. Now, this could be a bit of a ghoul rush. It's not uncommon to put a lot of pressure out to the Warden early on. It's especially good if you're going for the build where you want to hit a tier 3 timing, generally around the time that you get your 3rd hero out, you get your orb, and then they're putting up an expansion, and then you hit a big push with a bunch of frenzy ghouls and some fiends, and you just kind of do a lot of damage. Now, there is no coil, so it's very difficult to deal with the Warden's Shadow Strike if you don't have coil. You have to micro really, really efficiently and really, really well. Otherwise, you're just going to lose your ghoul. And this one is, you're going to see, he's going to have to have quite a bit, because all that Warden has to do really at this point is get one more Shadow Strike, and that ghoul's a goner. It's pretty much a goner at this point. It's a goner. He's going to get denied, though, which is fair enough. The Warden sitting at 148 XP as the Death Knight sits at 0. And we can see down here that there's another Ziggurat going down. Not even seeing a graveyard up yet. Just interesting choice. He is saving a bit of money right now, so he could be looking to get the graveyard up. He's got the Warden on a surround. He's got a dust, and he's going to force the TP. That is a pretty nice break for him early on. He did sell his TP early because he was trying to get a faster tech. You want more gold early on for lots of things if you're going with ghouls. It never hurts to have the faster tech. There goes the graveyard. It's never going to be Gargs versus Warden, really, because Warden has a Fan of Knives, and then they go Panda second, and they have so much AoE, and your Gargs and your ghouls just die. So really, low HP units are not great versus Warden first builds, and so normally you try to transition out of the ghoul build, because once you get to about mid-game, the ghouls start to kind of they kind of show that they're not the greatest, really, unfortunately. So this ghoul is in a bit of trouble already, and you can see really early on, you almost have to have the Unholy Aura, but to actually be able to keep these ghouls moving at a fast enough pace that you can even surround units like the Warden. And in fact, another really nice surround going to be picked up there on the Warden. He is level 2 though, so he's going to be able to blink out. He was able to pick up level 2 off that first ghoul that he killed in this engagement. If he had been able to, he tried to go for the deny, and if he had been able to get that, he would have been able to deny the level 2, and he probably would have gotten a kill on the Warden. So the Warden knows he needs to play a little bit carefully, but with the blink, obviously, he is a little more secure in his ability to just get out of those situations, as long as he doesn't run his mana all the way down, which he probably won't do. But so that's that. That's the early fights, and we're gonna see a Lich coming out, the Graveyard almost finished, and a Acolyte coming out. Acolyte versus Warden first, getting an extra one. He could do a lot with it. He can go for a Shade, or you can just kind of do it before he attacks. Which is not an uncommon thing to do, and you can do both. It's nice to have an extra Acolyte because there's a good chance, a very high chance, you're gonna lose one if the Warden comes in and harasses you. It's just kind of like, it's probably going to happen. It's better just to have one already ready rather than to not have one at all, because during your tech you can't actually make more. In fact, he's even going to cancel his tech just at the sight of the Warden because he doesn't have a Nerubian Tower, which is that's a little bit unfortunate, but it's not too big of a deal. It's one of those. That's one of those risk versus cost kind of situations. Like, if he doesn't come in and harass me, I can get away with not having a Nerubian Tower, and if he does, I can cancel my tech if it's really early on, and it's not going to cost me a whole lot, and it doesn't, but it does hurt. It does hurt, and it hurts to watch, but it's not too bad. It looks like we got some archers out, a bunch of archers actually. Possibly a bit of an overreaction, maybe. I mean, possibly not, but he's got 5 archers out, and I think that's because he saw those early ghouls, and maybe he was expecting to see more early ghouls. I don't know. It's unlikely that he's going to have to deal too much more with a lot of early pressure that archers are going to be good at dealing with. They're good at dealing with a lot of ghouls until the ghouls get frenzy, and they're also good at dealing with ghouls until there's a Lich out with Nova. Really, both of these things are, either one of these things are really not good for archers, because they just get nuked down all of a sudden. And this Warden's still not level 3. He's going to have a hard time picking it up because he's going to have to deal with the fact that Lucifer is going to play aggressive. He's going to go ahead and coil kill a Wisp right there, so picking up a little more XP. And the Warden's still level 2, obviously. I don't know what Lucifer's doing with that AOW there. I'm not sure he needs to take that much extra damage. He's not really accomplishing anything, but fair enough. The Elf on his way to tier 3, halfway through it. 2 Ancient Allures down at this point. We're going to see the Undead, slightly faster tech, but also on their way to tier 3. I'm throwing down double Slaughterhouse, which is going to indicate either Destroyers or Abominations, and most likely some kind of combination of both. You don't tend to mass Destroyers versus Elves who are going Ancient Allures, because obviously they can just switch into mass Dryads, and then you have an issue. How do you deal with the Dryads? What's really good is if you do Abominations, 1 or 2 Destroyers just to eat the rejuvenations off of the Warden, so you can focus the Warden down quite a bit. And then, depending on the situation, and for Turtle Rock, it's not a bad idea to add some Meat Wagons in, because Turtle Rock has a lot of kind of choky points that the Undead can stick their Meat Wagons pretty far away, and then just kind of focus them down on the Dryads and make it very difficult for the Dryads to run through where the choke point where they're fighting at is, and actually get back to those Meat Wagons. So that's one of those things that's kind of decent. So it's not that doesn't guarantee that he's going to go Meat Wagons, but it's not a bad map for him to if he decides to. And I like this. He's just kind of sitting here saying, well, I know you're not going to try to creep this because you have so many archers, and I'm sitting right outside of it, and your archers I'll kill all of them. Even if you force me away, I'll kill all of your archers if you try to creep that. And so here we can see some statues on the way out, a Meat Wagon on the way out already, actually, and Ghoul Frenzy also on the way out. So all of these things are going to be quite nice for Lucifer. And the Elf player, but he's not, the Elf player is not in that terrible of a spot here. He's going to have Master Bears very soon, and Master Bears deal quite well with Ghoul Frenzy Ghouls. They also deal quite well with Meat Wagons, as you might imagine. And they are slightly afraid of Destroyers. Bears in general do not like Destroyers. Obviously, they can't attack up. And the other issue is that they are, they are spellcasters ultimately. They have Roar and they have Rejuvenate, and both of those can be used to feed a Destroyer's mana and HP. So you kind of got to be careful with, and also, when they're in their heavy form or their bear form, they have heavy armor, so they take extra damage from magic, which is just what Destroyers do. And also, they have that big splash attack. So if the bears sit there and roar or something, then you eat all that, and then you just like 2-shot or 3-shot obviously not 3-shot, but you do a lot of damage and you quickly kill the bear with the orb. So Destroyers are pretty good versus bears. The problem is, you know, dryads are pretty good versus destroyers, so it's an interesting kind of synergy between the army compositions. But obviously right now there's so much food and supply tied up in these archers that it's just going to be a bit of a challenge for the elf player to deal with. I think the first fight that we're going to see. I don't think that the elf player is necessarily going to lose it. He's trying to get some nice steals because the Warden is level 4 now. He's solo Warden at this point, so he's really just aiming, it looks like, to get high level 6 maybe if he can Warden. And whenever you go with solo Warden, the dynamic, I think, generally, or at least the goal that I see, that the elf players tend to go by is get that Warden to level 5 or level 6 and then go and harass the acolytes. And on a map without zeppelins, that's really good. And this map doesn't have zeppelins. So, you know, and obviously, but there's the big drawback of, you know, you're really just going to focus the Warden in that situation. And that's why he's already picked up the potion of healing. He's got the bears. And he has to play a little bit defensive. He's only level 4. But if he takes a fight, even if he loses the fight, as long as he doesn't lose his hero, he's probably going to get a lot of XP out of it and get very close to level 6, if not outright level 6. And again, you can't disregard how powerful the Avatar of Vengeance is, which is quite a very powerful ultimate to have. It's very good on, you know, fight versus armies that have a lot of low HP units like ghouls, because then you get a lot of corpses and you can just kind of resurrect the dead, which is kind of an odd ability if you think about it for an elf hero, but, you know, I don't know. Anyways, this fight's gonna go. It looks like Lucifer's slightly outnumbered here, just a little bit. And this composition's really not good against bears in the slightest. Having abominations out helps, but this meat wagon can't get out of here fast enough, and these frenzy ghouls can't really fight this either. There's not really any destroyers out. These statues are just kind of running, and we're gonna see level 2 on the Death Knight, level 1 on the Lich. Not really what he wants. He's bringing in some abominations, and here we have 2 morph destroyers. This is gonna immediately turn this battle around just a little bit. As you can see, some nice nukes and very nice staff on that bear as it gets out at red HP, and we're gonna see another bear taking some focus as these dryads are just doing some really dancing dance micro with these destroyers. Bear will go down level 2, level gonna be picked up on the Lich, and we can see the Death Knight getting closer and closer to level 3 every time that he kills a unit. These archers are very likely to die, at least the ones in the back, potentially even this druid of the claw here as it tries to escape the wrath of the unholy Ord army, which maybe it won't, and maybe it will, because Lucifer's not going to chase it all the way into the space, which is probably not a bad call either. You know, check out, see what you can get. There's a Mantle of Intelligence over here. You can pick that up on the Death Knight. Yeah, or the Lich, but really the Death Knight. There we go. It's hard to pass up 3 intellect points. Whether you want to put it on the Death Knight or the Lich, either way, the Lich is sitting at plus 26 damage. That's an insane amount of plus damage to have, and he still has a Rod of Necromancy, which he can easily use at some point, and then pick up either a Scroll of Healing or a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. So he's got options, and I would expect to see him do that at some point. I don't know how much money he has right now. Let's see, 140. Well, probably not right now because he only has 150 gold. But, you know, at some point he's going to be able to replace that out with something that's a little bit more survivability, which doesn't hurt to have versus the Warden again. And the Warden's still at level 4, getting very close to level 5, though. If he can just pick off a couple of these big A-bombs, he's going to get a lot of XP for that. The Destroyer is also still having to micro away. It's surprising to me that these archers are still alive. Archers are fairly good against destroyers. One destroyer going to go down, and level 5 is going to get picked up. You can just see there's an insane amount of XP giving to this Warden every single time one of these big units die. And the undead TP's out. Unfortunately for him, this abomination got stuck in kind of a bad spot. It's what happens when you double click your TP instead of, you know, clicking and aiming where you want to go. But it's such a habit to double click because it's just, if you're someone who never double clicks, then you're not in the habit of double clicking. And sometimes you might have to think, oh, my hero's at 50 HP. How do I TP in time? So people tend to just double click, so you don't ever have to think about it, and that way, you don't ever lose your hero to a clutch TP, and you get some really nice clutch TPs doing that. So it's good just to be in that muscle memory habit. But the Warden player doesn't need to creep for XP, but he will creep for items. Of course, these inner 4 gold mines have really powerful items. Always a big, large consumable item. And really, really good for the Warden, because if you're solo, then you're trying your best to stay alive versus this undead nuke power. And pretty much any item he can get is going to help him do that. Even the mana potion that he could get is going to help him do that. I think you can get the Scroll of Roar, which again, Scroll of the Beast, which gives you Roar. That's the one item that you wouldn't want as Elf in that case, but you're unlikely to get that, so Fair enough on that. Now we're going to see a nice Frost Armor that's just been abolished magicked by a Dryad. We're going to see one of these poor Abominations has died. He is really aiming for that level 3 or level 6 here. Is he going to be able to take that Abomination down? 100 XP. Just dang. 1788. Oh, 1898. I think he's actually getting 128 XP per each Abomination killed, which is just absurd when you think about it. That's like 4 Abominations to get from level 5 to level 6 or something crazy like that. Just insane how much XP he got there. But now he's level 6, so he's in a pretty good spot. I think he's going to be quite happy with that. He's going to have his level 6, his ultimate. We're going to see the Dark Ranger has been picked up. Level 3 on the Death Knight, level 3 on the Lich. And it was nice that he waited for level 3 on the Lich before he picked up the Dark Ranger. It's one of those things, having that level 2 Frost Nova is actually incredibly potent. And it's good to have it. It really is. Whereas, you know, the Dark Ranger, having level 2 Lich and level 2 Dark Ranger is really one of the worst situations you can get yourself into. It happens oftentimes because you just need to have silence. But silence is something you're going to want versus the Warden. He was unlikely to get any kills early on without a stronger nuke, though. So wait till the Lich is level 3, then grab your silence. You have a stronger nuke, and you still have the silence that you need to actually silence this guy so he can't just blink away when he's low on HP. The one problem you do have, by the way, when you're going with this strategy, is that you're going to want to oftentimes use your Destroyer to eat rejuvenation off of the Warden, which is often going to come into clutch time, maybe like, say, when you're trying to kill him and he's silenced, and then you would eat the silence too. I think that Lich might just die. Nah, it's going to get coiled. Whew. That was nice and close. Oh, what an item. Actually, the Undead kind of sacrificed a lot to go into this. He lost the Destroyer, lost the TP, but he did get a bit of XP out of it, and he also got a Khadgar's Pipe of XP, or Insight, rather. And because he TP'd, and he TP'd all the way across the map, he's going to be able to come over here and quickly grab this as well. You're going to see 2 meat wagons kind of chilling out at this map, or at this base. He's got these 2 ghouls. He probably at some point would not be unwise to move them over here, or one over on each side. Oh, he's not going to go for the raid. He's actually going to go for the shop. That's not a bad decision either. He could pick up a TP at this point if he wants to from there, and also gets a nice ward and all kinds of other stuff, which is always good. Level 4 on the Death Knight. The Warden just still creeping for these big consumable items, and also to deny XP, because, you know, his big concern here is going to be his opponent getting a lot of XP. If you have 5-5 or even 5-3 or something like that versus a solo Warden, the Warden's going to tend to be in a lot of trouble. It's just, you know, there's so much nuke power. And also, it's really strange that the Warden has not even tried to come down here and harass the Acolytes whatsoever. I don't know why he wouldn't have done that already, but he just hasn't really been doing that. Kind of content to just try to control the map so far. But there we will see that, that was a bad decision, I think. Lucifer is going to lose his Dark Ranger. He went for the TP. If he had went for the coil and then the TP, he would have been okay. Maybe the coil was on cooldown. That's possible. He maybe used it to last hit a creep, but that hurts quite a bit. But he's just not caring. He's just going to keep on power creeping, and that's not a bad idea, because right now the fact is he's going to be out economy no matter what happens, but he's not going to be too out economy in the short term. And he's already got a decent army sitting up, stashed right here. He's at 50 food, so he's not too worried about it. He's just banking a bit, and now we're going to see that Warden actually come in and try to do some stuff. Maybe he's sitting at the edge of the Blight, and maybe not. I would expect him to. No, he doesn't care. He does not care. There's an archer down there that was going to kind of get a little bit of a scout information off because it got killed. So that's one way. Where's the undead? Oh, he's where he just killed my archer. That seems about reasonable. Keeping the meat wagons at the base, not a bad idea. Again, because he's having a hard time taking these fights, and his opponent is has been sitting in low upkeep for quite some time now. Even though he finally has got this expansion, it's still not up and running. The Warden going to take some serious nuke power right there, but he's not too worried about it. 1 rejuvenation will see him pretty much topped off. So he just needs... if he can keep doing that, he can drain the mana for the undead player, but he does have the Khadgars and statues, so you can just kind of see how fast his mana regeneration is going to be. Although he's not actually using mana on the statue for some reason, but I guess that's because he's got the Khadgars, but his mana's it's just going quite fast, so nothing too wrong about that. And the item, oh, did he get rune bracers? He's got a rune bracers. I don't know Oh, that's what, yeah, that's what just dropped. Okay, Rune Bracer is one of the better items you can get versus this, because obviously it reduces really all the damage that the Warden does. The Warden doesn't do much physical damage, but does do quite a bit of spell damage. And Lucifer's Death Knight is attacking a creep. I don't know what that's all about. The Lich is getting very low, 70 HP. Oh, he's gonna get the Frost Nova off, but he's not gonna get anything else. We're gonna see the Rejuvenation gonna get dispelled by the Destroyer. This is a really poor situation for Lucifer right here. Forced the TP out once again. Cannot fight this. This army is massive. It's just huge. It's almost 80 food. It's 76 food. And the Undead still sitting at just 49 food. You know, Lucifer completely content to bank. His opponent's expansion is finally starting to kick in. It'll pay for itself in about a minute or two. Probably less than that at this point because it's already got 4 in. So it won't take too much longer for that to pay for itself. Considering also that he did have that earlier one that got canceled, so there's some extra cost with that one. Also a lot of time, but again, it doesn't really matter. Also, I would even include, if I was being honest, I would include all of the lost gold that he's gained from here because he's been in high upkeep for so long, or rather low upkeep for so long. But this is a big issue for Lucifer because actually the main gold mines are about to run out. That's not good. And Lucifer has almost no way of securing an expansion at this point. Not with the level 6 Warden on the map. Not with the level 2 Panda who's going to quickly pick up level 3. I mean, he might be able to kill the Panda here, but it's got a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. It's got 2 Scrolls of Healing. So maybe it won't. Maybe he won't be able to kill it. There's the Warden here as well with the Staff of Preservation. And the Undead army is just kind of running around. Level 3 now picked up for the Panda. This is a very scary elf army. I don't know if Lucifer can do anything to just cause... Oh, thank you to Mr. Boo Yakamir for the follow. But yeah, I don't think there's anything that can really be done about this that Lucifer can do. It's not looking good. It's really not looking good. If he can take a really nice fight at his base, then maybe he'll be okay. He's banked up a decent amount of gold here. He's really low on wood, which is one of the problems when you only have 2 ghouls and you're going with these really big wood units. But again, his Lich is at least level 4. And he does have the Khadgar's Pipe, and, you know, he's saying, all right, well, now that my gold's mined out, I'll just break into my low upkeep for pretty much the first time in the game. And you can go up to maybe 70 food. But, again, you know, he's level 4 on the Death Knight, very close to level 3 on the Dark Ranger, level 4 on the Lich. If he can get level 3 on the Dark Ranger, he can get level 2 Silence. If he gets level 5 on the Death Knight, he gets level 3 Coil. And that would be pretty good, because obviously the Silence extends the duration that he has to DPS the Warden before it dies. Depending on whether or not, and I swear, if he doesn't get a Staff of Preservation on this Panda, then he hasn't. He's got the gold. He's got the gold. You're sitting at 80 food. What else do you want to slot for on this guy? Get the Staff of Preservation. If you're an elf player and you don't have a Staff of Preservation on your Panda in this situation, you're being stubborn. You're being so stubborn. There's no reason not to have it. But fair enough if he doesn't want. No, not fair enough. He should definitely have it. But whatever, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just saying he should definitely have it. Level 3 is now on the Dark Ranger. Is he going to get level 5 from that? Oh, he's 2 XP away on that Dark Death Knight. That's a shame. One fight could happen here, and this is a decent choke point for Lucifer to fight in. He's got the meat wagons in the back. The Dryads, though, easily could come down and around through here and fight those guys. But we'll see. A Disease Cloud has been researched. So that's nice, with the Panda just going to immediately pop the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability for some reason there and go on to these mechanical meat wagons. This fight underway completely. The Destroyer is not having a good time of it. The Avatar of Vengeance has been summoned, and he's just kind of in the back here, just smacking away. Killing these bears is good priority. If you take the bears down, that's not bad. You'll get a lot of XP for that, and you'll have the ability maybe to kind of chase kite around, because the Dryads are kind of easy to kite. Even though they do slow you, they're still kind of easy to kite. The Death Knight, though, having some serious problems here. He's going to pop a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, but he doesn't really have any either way out of this situation. Going to coil the Lich. He needs to find, maybe pass the Potion of Healing. He's going to pass the Potion of Healing. He's going to get Shadow Strike one more time. Can he take the Warden down? He's actually going to be able to take the Warden down. That's really good for him. Are the bears dead? The bears are mostly dead. There's one bear left. Now you can kind of kite around a little bit. And here is where the power of having high-level heroes is actually going to start coming into play, as well as that Khadgar's Pipe of Insight is actually going to take the Panda down as well. Level 5 on the Lich, level 4 on the Dark Ranger, and level 5 on the Death Knight. This is Not how I was expecting that fight to go. The undead basically sacrificed his entire army, and he's trying to get this expansion up. He's got it up, but he's going to have to deal with his little spirits of vengeance, being a little bit annoying for him to try to deal with too much. One more coil could take this bear down, but you know what? He doesn't need to coil it. And this one is going to have a bit of a time to go ahead and kill, and he might be able to, yeah, he can kill this as well. Although he might not want to coil it because, you know, he's got another coil ready for the Warden. At this point, the big problem he's going to face at this point is that he's got no way to regenerate his Death Knight, really, and that's an issue because unless he can afford a statue very soon, there's one on the way, he's got to have some kind of regeneration for it. He needs to kill this Avatar of Vengeance as well. It's just going to come down here and be a really annoying thing, just murdering all of his acolytes. Oh, it does so much damage too. Oh, acolytes, no, you've nowhere to run. You've nowhere to run. 'Twas a sad day with the murdering one. No. Well, that's painful for me to watch. But here comes the elf player. He says, "You no expansion today, sir." And yeah, there's not any expansion. Is he gonna unsummon it? Is he gonna unsummon it? No, he's not. Not gonna unsummon it, but even though Lucifer did a good job with the heroes, he basically traded his whole army for 2 heroes and some bears, which is not bad, you know, because he's got these high-level heroes. He can kind of deal with the dryads a bit. There's a TP on the Warden, so the Warden can probably just TP out of this fight. Yeah, he's gonna try to take that Avatar down. It's probably gonna not happen, and they will get the ghoul on the TP out. Well, so Lucifer's not he's not in a terrible spot once again. He's in a similar spot. He's going to have a lot of mana because he's got the 2 statues. He's got the Khadgar's Pipe. The Khadgar Pipe really just going to carry him. Otherwise, he'd have way less mana right now, and he'd have to rely really heavily on those statues. But his opponent has income, and he doesn't. But it's 51 food supply for the elf player right now, and about 34 for Lucifer. Having 3 high-level heroes could make up for it, considering that's only 1 high-level hero, and the impact difference is just massive there. So it's possible, and again, these are dryads. Dryads are not super good at fighting. They're good at, you know, at the back. If they have something to tank for them, they're pretty okay. But if there's nothing tanking for them, then that's a problem. But we'll see here. Just starting the fight with a bit of this. Gonna see if he can get the Destroyer to eat the Rejuvenate pretty much immediately, which is really good. Got very little HP value out of that. Gonna see the Lich tanking quite a bit, but he's gonna get a Coil. Just trying to keep this going. Gonna lose 1 ghoul, no problem. He's gonna focus down a bear. Will he be able to kill it? He's gonna be able to take it down. Very nice. 1 skeleton being killed. Gonna pick up level 4 for the panda. Oh, a haze fire going off on all of these poor units. They're so slow now. The Lich gonna take another coil. Plenty of mana for more coils. He just has to keep that Lich alive long enough to pretty much do more Frost Novas. And these Frost Armors are very, very good. It forces the Dryads to not attack. They have to abolish magic. Instead, the Panda actually gonna get nuked down pretty slickly. I didn't really think he was gonna die there, but he did. The Death Knight is really what this elf's all about. Popping a potion of lesser invulnerability on the Warden. Gonna get that was a nice staff on the bear. The coil just barely missing it. And the fight goes on. And on and on. And these Dryads are going a little bit extended. They might lose one, maybe. Is that gonna? Yeah, one will die to a Dark Ranger arrow. Level 4, doing quite a bit of damage. The Lich again doing plus 26 damage. He is just a machine gun at this point. Has the Rune Bracers as well, which is a pretty good move. Probably saved his life a couple of times because that Breath of Fire and that Shadow, well, part of the Shadow Strike's not hitting as hard as it could. Another coil just keeping him topped off. And a silence on the Warden at this point. Is he going to go for the bear? He's still going for the bear, though. Going to get another really clutch coil on that Lich. More Frost Armor, keeping him alive versus the Warden. It slows his attack, gives him more armor. 1 more coil, potentially, could save him. Oh, he's leveled up. Oh, no, what a shame. The Lich just not going to quite make that. That coil's so close. Just absolutely so close. That's it. But Lucifer is still not out of the game yet because he still has a Death Knight. He still has a Dark Ranger. And he still has a couple Destroyers and some statues if he can keep everything alive. He could potentially unsummon some stuff here. Oh, no. Dark Ranger, no, why? Is there going to be a coil? Oh, the coil just barely coming in. Just in the nick of time. The Warden, though, going to go straight for the Death Knight. There's no statues nearby. The statues have not been brought around like you would expect they were going to. We're going to see a nice silence on the Warden. Will it be enough? It seems quite unlikely at this point. One more Shadow Strike will pretty much finish the job. Is he going to get the block with the Wisp? Not quite happening here, but the blink and the kill. Level 8 for the Warden. He was unsummoning the Necropolis. He was going to try to get the Lich back out. And if he was able to get the Lich back out, keeping the Death Knight alive, he would have had a little bit more of a fighting chance, but that would have been a long time to get that Lich out anyway. Now it's up to the Dark Ranger. Killed another Dryad, but he's really not. He's not having the best. There we go. Well, the Destroyers are going down. He's going to take down one more Dryad in an act of final defiance. Can he get one more? He's so slow. It seems quite unlikely. He's going to try to run away. It's not going to happen. The Dark Ranger goes down. It looks like this has been the last hurrah. GG is called, and GG indeed. So that was the best of one between koskson and Lucifer. Lucifer? Oh, wow, yeah. For iFeng Cup. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is the only game we're casting tonight because we're running way behind. But again, thanks for watching. If you want to see more of these games, go to youtube.com/SirPureby, or if you want to watch them cast live, check out twitch.tv/Pureby. By all means, do whatever feels right. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.